Hey guys, Wes here. So this week I'm going to do a second version of all the products I use, and I'm also going to include basically all the extra supplies that I have. So this is all the stuff I have. First, I'll start with the everyday things that I use. Obviously, I feed my fish. I feed my tropical fish omega-1 super color flakes. It's a really good nutritious food. I feed my beta omega-1 beta buffet, and sometimes I will feed them omega-1 freeze-dried bloodworms. Another thing that I use, well, the food is the only thing that I really use every day, but what I use every week is my Python water changer. I love this thing. It hasn't broken. A lot of people complain about this connector to your sink breaking, but it hasn't happened to me yet. I take this coarse sponge and put it over the end with a rubber band so the fish don't get sucked up. Here are my fertilizers. I don't use these anymore. My dirt is enough to sustain the plants now. Before I was having algae issues. Here I just have two different cups. This one I use, I fill it with the old tank water before I do a water change, and I use that water to prime the filters. And this green cup I put a little bit of water in, and that is what I dose my dechlorinator with, which is Seachem Safe. This is a powdered water conditioner. It's really concentrated. It's powdered. I still have, I think, more than half of it left. It's been like a year and a half. And these are the little measuring spoons that I use. I actually got these in an Amazon order that I have a video of. They're really good for measuring this. I did the a man in the reviews on Amazon did the conversions to tablespoons, and then I did the conversions from tablespoons to gallons from these directions on here, if that will focus. It tells you how many tablespoons per gallon, and it's a really big number. So what I did is I converted it and I engraved that number on the spoons. You can see this one is 15 gallons and this larger one is 20 gallons. So that's a good way for me to dose water conditioner, very concentrated. Another thing that I use every week is a digital aquarium thermometer. This is a really cheap one that I got on Amazon for about $4. I have a few of these and they're really good. Once the batteries run out, you can always buy replacements. I've done that. You can see there's some scuff marks on the battery cover from taking it off. Those work really well. They have a little bit of a delay for the temperature, but that's okay because you can just wait a few more seconds. A few other things that I use every week would be my planting tongs. I believe these are by Fluval. I don't think they're marked, but I believe they are Fluval planting tongs. These are just hair cutting scissors. They're really sharp and they're a decent size, so I can get down to the bottom of plants to trim. Here's just an older toothbrush that I use to scrub things sometimes. Super glue, of course. I don't use this a whole lot. I used to use it more when I would attach Anubias to rocks, but the one thing I do use it for currently is the outflow sponge of my beta tank. I kind of hold two different pieces together to sandwich over the outflow to baffle the water flow so it's not too high for the beta fish. Another thing that I use every week, let me see, would definitely be these dividers. I keep these in my aqua clears on my 29 gallon. They sit on top of the biological media right below the cover, so that if the mechanical media gets clogged and the water wants to push that up, it doesn't actually lift the biological media out of the water, so it stays completely submerged all the time. Another thing that I use kind of often is this little template I made. This is the size of the media basket on the AquaClear 50, so if I ever need to cut out more mechanical media, which I use this quilt batting for, I can just use this template for the right size, and it fits right in the media, I wouldn't say media bag, but media basket for the aqua clears. This is my automatic fish feeder that I used to use a lot more when I first started my 20 gallon. I got this from Walmart. I think it was like $8, but it is battery operated, which is something I usually try and steer away from. I like things that plug in. just so I don't have to worry about changing the batteries, but I don't use this anymore. I feed my fish myself because I don't really go away very much to have to use this or have someone take care of my fish. Here is a spare AquaClear 50 because I used to have one on the 20 gallon and two on the goldfish tank, so I have an extra one here with biological media. I just have that sitting in case I need an extra one for something, because I figure I'd probably get more use out of it if I ever needed it myself than if I tried to sell it for way less than what I paid for it, because it's basically brand new, it's in perfect condition, so I figured I would keep it. Here's my circulation pump that I used in the goldfish tank for surface agitation. I have the suction cups, I just didn't attach them on. But this worked well for the surface agitation. It's the smallest pump of the Hydrocoralia series. Here's something that I use quite frequently. It's an algae sponge. This yellow part goes on the interior of the tank, and the green part goes on the outside. You can scrub the glass. I'm sure many of you have mag floats, but this is just a cheap one that I got when I first started the hobby, and I just have kept it since. There's no use in spending $20 on a mag float when I have this. I forgot to mention this. This is my little pipette for measuring my fertilizers. I may or may not have taken this from my chemistry classroom last year. Don't tell anyone. Here's some extra airline tubing. I have more than just this, more loose stuff, but I bought this 8 feet of airline tubing. It was like $2, so I couldn't go wrong. And to go along with that, I have just some other bubble stones, air stones, and some extra check valves. I have a lot of other ones of these too that aren't in the package. Something for preventative use that I have is this bag of aquarium salt. I've never had to use it. Hopefully I won't ever have to use it, but I figured I would have it on hand just in case I did need it. I haven't had any really bad outbreaks of disease in any of my tanks, but I figured I might as well have this just as backup since it was only a few dollars. The other thing I have for preventative maintenance is my UV sterilizer green killing machine that I used in the 29 gallon when I first started it with the dirt to keep the algae down. These can really help with pathogens in the water if there's ever parasites or anything, so I keep that as backup. I didn't use it for very many hours, so the bulb still has a lot of life left. Here's my tripod that I use. It's a really cheap, I think it was like $5 on Amazon, but it serves the purpose. Obviously I'm not using it right now because I'm holding my phone with my hand, but this works really well just for simple like one angle shots, and for panning it's not the best, it's not super smooth, but it works for what I need it for. Here is just a bubble wall. I have 2 of these from when I had the goldfish tank. I had the bubble walls on both sides, and I think I had it in the back at one point. I don't use these anymore. I don't use aerators in my tanks really, except for the beta tank just has a regular air stone, but I might as well just keep these instead of getting rid of them just in case I ever wanted to use them again. Here I have 2 different tube cleaning brushes, a rather narrow one and a large one. I think there's a medium-sized one as well, but I mostly just use this one. This is the perfect diameter for my AquaClear tubes, and I also use it just to kind of scrub things if I'm cleaning filters. Here are my 3 different size nets. This is the smallest one here that I got when I first started. I got this one once I got my bigger tropical fish like gourami and my rasboras, and I finally bought this one when I had the goldfish. I don't think I really used it a whole lot, but now I have it, might as well keep it. I wouldn't really get anything for it if I wanted to sell it or anything, so I just keep that. Now let's move over here. Here is my normal water change bucket that I use for the beta tank. I believe it's just a 2.5 gallon bucket, 10 quarts. I basically use this for also cleaning out filters, mechanical media, carrying wet filters from my room to my bathtub to clean them. Here is a little submersible pump. I can't recall the gallon per hour. I want to say it's maybe 25 or 30, but I use this to fill my beta tank out of this bucket instead of trying to pour it. This has a nice steady low flow, so it doesn't scare the beta or anything. So that's great for filling the tank. Here's a little bit of nylon tubing. This is what I use to drain water out of the beta tank when I do water changes, and also out of the 29-gallon if I need to rinse out mechanical media in tank water. That's my main bucket. Here is my blue bucket. You've probably seen this in my sterilizing videos. You can see I have this marked bleach. I only use this bucket for sterilizing plants. I don't want to risk the exposure of high amounts of chlorine to any of my fish, so I keep this as an extra bucket, and I usually just kind of keep this in there when I store it away. So I think that's all I have for aquarium products. I know this seemed kind of haphazard, but I just wanted to do a quick video for you guys. I haven't had any great ideas. I know I've been saying that every week, but nothing really changes in my hobby, and I'm not the type of person that goes out to buy things to make a new video every week. So I figured I'd just show you all my different products. Last but not least, I almost forgot, is my master freshwater aquarium testing kit. I don't have like the fancy like title cover or anything. I got rid of those. All I have is the bottles. I have a few more vials. I think I have about 6 glass vials that I use. These are the ones that were just happened to be dry, so I put them in there. But I use that. Obviously, just like a lot of other people, my nitrate testing bottles are mostly empty. That's what I test for the most, because I trust that my aquariums are cycled for ammonia and nitrite. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll just give you a quick shot of both tanks after their water changes. Beta fish obviously just sitting there. And here's the 29-gallon going strong still after that trimming. Really growing back nicely. A little bit bubbly from the water change, but that's to be expected with every water change. Okay guys, that's it for this week. Sorry it was kind of a thrown together video, but I figured I'd show you all my stuff. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, definitely click that button. I'd love to see that number go up. And I'm going to keep this weekly schedule even if they aren't super high quality videos, unfortunately. Click this like button so you know that you enjoyed these types of things, and if you have any comments below, it's greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next week.